Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on the Evil Dead Rise. Yeah, they're back. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 10 available through Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Yeah, it looks scary, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of sick of this. I'm just kind of sick of it. It's like you made a fun movie, that wasn't all that serious, and now you've got another movie in which the Necronomicon and everything's super scary and serious. I guess it's not. It looks very gross and creepy and scary, but I'm just not interested in this anymore. Ugh, that's awful. I'm just not interested in seeing a movie where people are trapped in an apartment building and one by one they die and maybe a couple of them survive. It just... Okay, so we're doing Evil Dead again. What happened to Bruce Campbell and time travel? I mean, that to me is what I want to see, not gross stuff. I mean, it was fun when it was gross with Bruce Campbell because it was fun, when he cuts off his own hand and replaces it with a chainsaw. It's fun. It's crazy. This is like, okay, now we're going to do the scary stuff now. So how am I supposed to sign on for this, even if I'm down for a scare? It just seems like... And then they use Que Sera Sera for the soundtrack, which is weird, I guess. And it's all looks very claustrophobic. I mean, it looks scary, but part of it hinges on, apparently, someone stumbling across the Necronomicon again, and, well, terrible things happen because the Necronomicon. All right. That was all kind of implied in the Evil Dead movies. I mean, yeah, some of it you saw, but, like, the implication was the Necronomicon or the Evil Dead, they kind of finally have hit a wall with Bruce Campbell. Like, we didn't see these kinds of stories because who cares? Who cares about these characters? Yeah, I guess you could make me care, but I don't know. Am I the only one who's just exhausted of this? At least call it something else. Like, the Necronomicon is not serious to me. It's just not serious anymore. They redesigned the Necronomicon too. I guess they had to, because it's like, well, this is going to be the serious Evil Dead movie. Okay. How'd that first serious Evil Dead movie work out when they revamped it? Yeah, not so great. Let's see what they say about this. Witness the mother of all evil in a brand new trailer for The Evil Dead Rise, April 21st, 2023. The upcoming film is a terrifying new installment of the iconic horror franchise created by Sam Raimi in the 1980s. A group of young people uncover the Necronomicon, inadvertently unleashing the mother of all evil. Moving the action out of the woods into the city, Evil Dead Rise, directed by Lee Cronin, tells the twisted tale of two estranged sisters played by Sutherland and Sullivan, whose reunion is cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons, thrusting them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of their family imaginable. I mean, there could be something to explore with that, I guess, but I don't know. Just doesn't look fun to me. It just looks gross. And they even throw a chainsaw in? What's that supposed to be? Is that, oh, it's, see, it's Evil Dead. We got a chainsaw. Yeah, it wasn't even about character with the old Evil Dead movies. It was just about Bruce Campbell chewing up the scenery in a hilarious way. Just about a guy who was too confident for his own good to understand he was facing demons. and he would beat them. Now I'm supposed to take the demons seriously. I kind of can't. I kind of can't take this whole movie seriously. I'm sure I would kind of be scared watching it, but I just can't motivate myself to watch a movie like this. What is it bringing to the table here? Oh, okay, it's a new twist on an old idea. We're going to do stuff with the mom and the family. You could have done that in a different kind of movie. I mean, it seems unnecessary to do it in The Evil Dead Rise. It feels like, again, I always go back to comic books. You know, comic book companies would have these characters, these IPs, and then they would do these. They would keep branching out, expanding, and they'd eventually do these side stories with some side character in Batman or Spider-Man or whatever. And you'd read it and you'd go, oh, okay. So in that context, yeah, maybe. Like, if this was a TV... I mean, this was a TV show, right? They did an Evil Dead TV show. I thought that was pretty cool. But mainly for Bruce Campbell. They kind of expanded the team a little bit, and that was okay. But just a bunch of characters trapped in a horrible situation that's contrived by the Necronomicon and the Evil Dead. So it was to me it was the right idea for horror comedy. It's the wrong idea for an actual horror movie. Because it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, if there's more subtlety to the demons, maybe? There's no subtlety here. It's like, it's going to be scary. I guess. I mean, they're in a city. This happens. Okay. Why isn't the police involved? Why didn't somebody call the police? I mean, it's scary. It's well done. I'm not knocking any of the talent here. Man, you're just beating a dead horse here. Pardon the expression. You're beating an evil dead horse. Just feels like. I know Sam Raimi's talented. I know he can come up with stuff. He can come up with different things. And yeah, this is different on a couple of different levels, but I don't know. I'm just burned out on it. It's not something I'm interested in. To me, if Sam Raimi, look, when Sam Raimi did Spider-Man, that was kind of like in the wheelhouse. It was different for him, right? He did TV shows, he did Evil Dead. Spider-Man, okay, it's kind of near there. That's the kind of transition. This seems like way over here. And granted, he's not doing it. I get why he's licensing this and probably makes a good paycheck from it, but it's just, is there nothing new? I mean, this would be probably a much better movie if it were something new. If it wasn't connected to the Evil Dead. Think about that. Think about that, because then you wouldn't know what the rules are. You would say, whatever evil thing caused the possession, you could explore that. It could, I think this is a girl-centric movie, so it could be a piece of jewelry, right? It could be like, oh, the woman puts on a necklace and becomes possessed by a devil, and you tie it into some story about necklaces that possess people. I'm sure you could, if you dig deep enough, I'm sure you could find one throughout history, some mythos. If not, I'm sure you can make one up connected to a necklace. That would be different, because then you'd see the necklace, like, you build that up and you'd be like, oh, what's that? Oh, it's a necklace. How does that possess her? What? How'd the demon get in a necklace? What are the rules there? Like, we don't know what... There's places to explore in that part of the horror. Here, you gotta, explore it. You can't really explore the Necronomicon without changing the rules, which it already looks like they're doing. So, what's the point? What's the point? And it just looks gross. I'm not a big gross movie fan, but if you are, I mean, it looks well put together. I mean, watch this trailer. It's a Red Band one. It's pretty bloody. You know, and it's hard to be over the top and not comedy, and then over the top and horror. Like over the top and horror, I don't think that works. I think the best horror is subtle. So, like, like the Babadook to me was very subtle for a lot of it. You don't see the monster for a long time. It kind of builds and builds, and weird things happen. It's, this, like, I think most of it is relying on the gore and the jump cuts. Yeah, I don't know. Anyhow, The Evil Dead Rise again. First act, I guess they find the book, and well, you probably establish this family dynamic, which seems very important to the movie. I guess it takes place prior to the internet. You still got record players. It's hard to tell. It's so dark and dreary. See, here's a piece of jewelry. So here's the whole family. So you introduce this whole cast and their various family dynamic. Apparently the sisters are estranged, but they're coming back together. And then somebody finds the Necronomicon. I think the kid in the blue shirt, and he plays a record backwards, and that sets it off, or does he read it? I don't know. Somehow it sets off the Necronomicon. She gets possessed, and then rather than immediately killing everybody, as they did in The Evil Dead, right? The moment a Deadite appeared, like, I would just start killing and causing mayhem immediately. And you were either ready, like Ash, or you were in trouble. You were in trouble. But instead, we're gonna get this slow walk of a Deadite, I assume, or demon, or whatever the hell it is. And then slowly they realize this would be the second act. She's possessed, and then the rest of the family realizes, oh my God, she's possessed, and they get into a fight with her. She tries, and then bloody things happen. At first, they don't fight with her, and then, as she starts to attack people and go crazy, they try to help her, but they soon realize they can't. And then, I don't know, they lock her out of the apartment at one point. And then I think at least one or two other family members also get possessed or killed and then possessed. Maybe they try to use the book to cure the mother. And then it's just the younger sister and the little girl and her trying to save her. So, and at some point there's a fountain of blood shooting through a window. There's a chainsaw scene. And the final act is probably with the two sisters, and then their fight with each other is a metaphor for their family problem too, I guess. And in the end, I imagine the younger sister survives and saves the little girl, because I can't imagine them killing her. And then what happens to the little girl? How does she get away? I mean, the rules for Deadite and Evil Dead are pretty clear. They're pretty relentless and murderous. Now they could change the rules here, but how are you going to change the rules? What would be the new rules? I don't really see it in the trailer, other than there's a book involved. The rules are important in a story like this, especially in supernatural screenwriters. You gotta have at least clear rules in your own mind to see how the characters can get out of this mess, or how they can screw themselves, or whatever. That's why in a lot of classic devil stories or demon stories, the rule of thumb is the demon can only do so much. It's limited. It's very powerful, but it's limited in what it could do. It has to corrupt other people and get permission from them to actually do more evil. Like you have to make a wish or command it, or and then the devil somehow screws you over by your own words. like, I didn't do this, you did this. And that's like a true corruption. This just looks like, oh, she's possessed, oh God, we gotta fight her, and we beat her at the end. So yeah, it just doesn't interest me. It just looks tiresome and depressing. I don't want tiresome and depressing. I'm done with that. I want something fun, positive. I know it's horror. I don't mind scary, but I want something fun. I want something where the characters survive. And the fun movie of this would have been better. Just saying. But, Sam Raimi's not directing it, I don't think. I guess this is just part of that world. Doesn't seem to really jibe. Seems to jibe with the other Evil Dead remake they made. Okay. Just throw it into the heap with the rest of the other horror movies, I guess. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for a more base take. If you want our other takes, we do 4 videos a day. And the other 2, can't put it on YouTube. And we'll see you in the next one.